Hello DevOps friends, it's me, Jochen, the Monospace Mentor. Welcome to Full Stack Live, my live coding stream. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do one on Tuesday for various reasons, so I'm more than happy that today did come together, even though a little bit late because I was held up. But hello Balthazar, how are you doing? And today I'm going to do a little bit of work on the Jekyll website, it's not really a website, it's basically a tool that I use to create my talks and videos, where I basically create my slides and also scripts that I am using for for recording videos. Hitokiri Batusai, welcome to the stack. How's it going? So, yeah, I'm a little bit under the weather, a little bit distracted. I think I could use a holiday. And we are actually in the process of planning one. That was part of why I'm delayed today. GoPro Slow Yo, hello, gotta make coffee. Oh, yeah, thanks for the reminder. And yeah. Oh, thanks for the compliment, GoPro Slow Yo. Yeah, I really love it. Silicon graphics has always been something that I was fascinated with. I actually did my bachelor's thesis on silicon graphics machines. During that time was when I did the most C coding in my life. Yeah, it was amazing working on these machines back in at the end of the 90s. A little bit later, I even got myself an Octane 2. However, first of all, yeah, you already couldn't do much with it, even though there are current software repositories that allow you to install current open source software on IRIX. But still, there wasn't much that you could do with this machine, and at least this machine that I got off eBay was loud as heck. The fan in there and the hard disks and all that, this thing made quite the racket, and it wasn't really enjoyable working at it for an extended time. So when I had to move, I decided not to move that heavy thing. The machine weighed about 20 kilos, I reckon, something like that. And so, yeah, I decided to sell it off, and I'm missing the design of all these SGI machines. They had these nice cases. Each and every one came in a different color, so you could easily see what kind of machine it was. And of course, yeah, they all had their custom molded case, and that was quite impressive. The nerd in me loved them. Unfortunately, SGI went the way of the dodo, and so today we are again stuck with mostly boring machines, to be honest. I'm quite happy that I was able to replace my boring black workstation case, at least with a nice fractal one, if you haven't seen it yet. I got myself a nice fractal North, and I'm very happy with the wooden front, and it's a great case, and I managed to transplant my machine without breaking anything, which is quite the relief. All right, so I think in order to get my mind on things, it's best we get into things, I'd say. And yes, by the way, we are back to the old perspective. I've moved my camera back to where it used to be, because I simply couldn't go without the teleprompter. Not for streaming, having a teleprompter that shows me my current video is useful, but also for recording videos, which is what got me to today's topic. Because English is still still a second language for me. I would like to rely on having a teleprompter to record stuff, just so I don't have to do 8 takes of each and every paragraph in the talk that I'm going to record. And so, yeah, I got the teleprompter back together and attached my third screen to it, and so you are again to my right. I hope that's okay with you. Now, let's see. Here we are. Let's go in here. this is my repository for the Jekyll website that creates a website of my talks. And it's quite a nifty thing that I've built here, because for once I can create slides using reveal.js, which is, I simply type Markdown. As you can see, slides are separated by either 2 or 3 dashes. And then anything in between is Markdown. And that generates slides automatically. Let me get that on screen for you. So if I go to, say, Varnish Mastery, my latest course on monospacementor.com, and then into the slides, then it loads Jekyll loads reveal.js and generates the slides for me. Just needs a short time to load the reveal.js, and then we are here, and I have perfectly styled slides that I can use and go through. That's one thing that's possible. The other thing is that I can actually create a teleprompter slide, teleprompter crawl, and that is this script here, which is also just Markdown, but I'm using the teleprompter layout here. And that means if I go back and go into teleprompter script, then this text appears as a teleprompter crawl with a big font and everything. And once I press space, it starts to scroll, and I can simply read it off the screen. And of course, on the teleprompter, that makes things so much easier for me. I'd rather spend a little bit of time writing a script that then actually conveys what I want to transfer to people, rather than trying to come up with the patience of taking the same section of a talk over and over again until it's finished, and then go on to do all the video editing that it makes necessary. So yeah, that's the Jekyll site that I built for this purpose, and I actually realized 2 things. One is that I might want to have multiple files for slides, because the actual slide deck for the Varnish course, for example, is huge. It has almost 3,000 lines, and so I had to actually add these comments in here, so I was able to fold them in NeoVim. So I can navigate everything quickly enough if I look for a specific slide in a specific section. And then I realized, yeah, I could actually simply split them up and have a file for each section, or lesson in this case. That makes things easier as well. Fortunately, that is already covered. At least if I if I number my slide decks, they should appear in the right order. So this happens automatically. So if I have 10 or more of these slide decks, that shouldn't be a problem. And then the other thing is, I actually would like to be able to publish some of these talks, especially if there are talks that I gave at a conference. Not everything is for my own personal use in video recording. And oh, Epic Ninja Elephant, by the way, welcome to the stack. Good to have you. So I thought about splitting this site up into a public website and an internal one. But I think, since we are talking about a static site generator, I should be able to actually work with an attribute where I say, okay, this is public. This can be, for example, be generated to be displayed on, say, Netlify. And for this course script, for example, I don't like that to be publicized. And I'll have to look into how I can actually do that in an efficient way. So I think the easiest way would be if there would be a way to mark a whole course as or a whole talk as public or private. So all its components will either be included or not. However, I think at the moment I don't have a model that would allow me to do that. I could... Well, we could... Oh, sorry. I'll make that a little bit bigger for you. So that's... Okay, is that better? No, I didn't choose to use the posts for this. I tried to work with collections, but I couldn't get that to work properly how I wanted it to work, and so I reverted to a simple folder structure. And then, say, here in my central index.html, I simply go through the whole page collection and check for an index.md. And I guess I could say, okay, in this index.md will include a public or private attribute. And then render that. And the same would go for the talks index.md that only has a few YAML attributes here, mainly the title, which is the title that gets displayed here. And then the overview layout then goes through all pages that are in the same directory as this index.md. And we could also look for a public attribute there, but that would mean I would have to add this public attribute to each and every file. Epic Ninja Elephant's question brings me back to the question, why did it not work with collections? It's almost a year ago when I worked on this, so I actually don't remember what exactly was the showstopper working with collections. I think I had a talks collection and a videos collection even. But maybe I'm overthinking this, because at the moment, for example, we are talking about adding a public attribute to a handful of files, which would definitely be a way to go about this. Me too, Epic Ninja. Me too. I love Jekyll, and I only reluctantly built my monospacementor.com website with WordPress. But that was necessary because of all the dynamic plugins I needed to get course sign up and all these things. That would have been impossible to do with a static site generator. But for most of the stuff that I'm doing, I use Jekyll. I did try Hugo for this varnish course, actually, because I wanted to provide my participants with a newly created website that they could install to their own workstation. And that's why I simply included Hugo in the course repository. And so they could simply go and generate the static site themselves on their workstation and then display exercises and other things right on their workstation without having to go on the internet even. Yeah, WordPress isn't too bad, to be honest, I'm not thinking too badly. Is that a word? About WordPress. Actually, WordPress is part of my business. In 2010, I founded my current company, which is a managed hosting company for WordPress and Drupal. We started out with Drupal, but since most of our customers are web agencies, they kept asking for WordPress support as well because they were so happy with our Drupal hosting. And so we decided, okay, let's split our attention 50-50 between Drupal and WordPress. And yes, WordPress isn't too bad if you know what you're doing. If you don't, then you're bound for trouble, but bound to have trouble. But it's decent. And a self-hosted WordPress is definitely a great alternative to the hosted WordPress, especially since they started getting into that AI crap. I agree. When I decided to use Hugo because I didn't want to have the whole Ruby environment set up for my course, I wanted to provide my customers with a single Docker Compose file that they could then use to get everything on their machine, including that static website that I keep referring to. I chose Hugo, but it took me a few hours to wrap my head around the whole directory structure and how it works. Jekyll is a little bit more straightforward, I would say. But it does have its challenges as well, if only proven by the fact that I struggled to work with collections for my use case here. I think the problem with collections was that I have this specific structure here where I have a directory for each talk, and that talk can then contain an arbitrary number of markdown files, and those need to be presented in a way. And I think that structure is not what the collections feature in Jekyll was designed for, if I remember that correctly, which, yeah, my memory is very faint on that. And I would say until we get in trouble with using an attribute for each and every file, we'll simply go that route. So I'll simply go and add an attribute to this file and to this file. To this one, and finally to this one. And I would say we'll default to public false. And only display stuff that is explicitly marked as public. So in this case, that means we'll add another condition here. If I actually don't remember the syntax here. Can I just do video.public? Or is it video data public? We'll have to find out. And then I guess we'll have an endif here. Let's see what happens. The overview is empty now. That should not happen. That's because the index.md needs to be public too if I want to have stuff displayed. So let's change that here. And yes, it was as easy as I thought. And if I go into here, well, there are only slides. Okay. We'll have to create a test case here where, for example, I make the talk itself true, but say the script will be false. I don't want to publish the script, but I would like to publish these slides. Let's go back. Yep, now this appears. Our overview template doesn't yet respect the public setting, so everything appears. And let's go into the overview here and do the same thing. If page name is not equal to talk name and page public. No? Why doesn't that work? It's talk public. Wait, talks are all the pages in that path? Yeah, okay, so we are talking about talk, even though talk is not really a great description of what this is about. And maybe we are running into a matter of precedence here. The teleprompter script is definitely not public, is it? Let's see, script is public false. Ah, you might be right. It's I'm doing Ruby code here. Let's find out how this actually works. Yeah. Liquid template condition control flow. There's not even a mention of Boolean expressions. Let's see what we get under. Yeah, we need to use the written and here. And it works. Brilliant. Yeah, you were right. Epic Ninja Elephant, thank you. Now all of these slides appear, and that's nice. And I think I'm going to commit that. However, for my own use, of course, I would like to be able to display everything. Otherwise, I would run into trouble myself getting my teleprompter scripts on screen, for example. But I'll have to take a quick break, nature calls, and I'll be back in a minute. And I'm back. I have a bit of an upset tummy at the moment. Hey McWheel, how you doing? Welcome to the stack. And yes, Epic Ninja Elephant, that is exactly what I thought. We could use the environment settings, so I get displayed everything in development, and non-public stuff gets excluded in production. I'm not even sure if I am using environments in that way yet, but let's check how this actually works. Let's see if I do. Yeah, brilliant. So Jekyll environments. Brilliant, there is one. In the build arguments, you can specify a Jekyll environment and value. The build will then apply this value in any conditional statements in your content. So I can actually check Jekyll.environment, and I would simply set that either as when I build it, or default value is development. So apparently I might actually be using development. Yeah, that's because I'm not even publishing this website yet at all. So I've been working in development anyway. So what we need is basically a helper method that I can call from my different layouts and files that will tell me if a specific document may be published or not, depending on A, the environment, and B, the public attribute of the document in question. So let's see how this actually works. So we need to have something like a helper method. Is something like that listed here? Let's search the docs for helper. That's just a change log. That's not what I'm looking for. Maybe actually use a search engine. Jekyll helper method. Command line liquid. I guess, yeah, liquid makes sense. Includes layouts, themes, plugins. Let's take a look at directory structure. Includes Jekyll cache. Do I need to create my own plugin for that? I'd be surprised. Let's go back here. Ah, yes. That's exactly my problem. Liquid filter. Okay, you can define a filter. Okay. So I guess I need to define my own filter. Let's see if that's easy. Filters usage. Ah, yes, of course, I could. Yeah, if I'm already creating these collections here, like talks, site pages, where sort title, I could then pipe that into another filter that decides if it's supposed to be displayed or not. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the site variable, or site object, to be more precise, does also tell you a lot. That's right. And you mentioning GitHub pages reminds me that I could also use GitHub or GitLab to publish this website instead of maybe using Netlify. I could go with GitLab since it's already hosted there. Okay, built-in filters, okay, array and stuff. How about custom filters? That's liquid on Shopify, however. I think I should look somewhere else. So let's see, liquid custom filter. Is Shopify liquid the same as the general liquid? Down here. That's fluid. No, that's definitely not what I'm looking for. Let's see, extending liquid. Create your own filters. There we go. Alex Ford, welcome to the stack. Yep. Shopify is one of the biggest websites using Ruby. Just one of the many proofs that Ruby is not dead. Oh, you're building a shop yourself. E-commerce is definitely interesting and a challenge. It can be an interesting challenge, but it can also be a terrible challenge. Filters, right? Module. With filters, note that Liquid just uses the method name as the filter name. There's no extra level of name mapping. Make sure your filter method names don't conflict with any existing filters. Okay. Okay, question is now... In a Ruby module, either passing an array of filter containing modules to the render call, or globally registering your filter modules. Okay. But still, I'm not sure how this works in the context of Jekyll. It's just talking about standard filters. How about custom filters? Filters are modules. Okay, here we go. All methods will have to take at least one parameter which represents the input of the filter. And then we'll register that for Liquid template. Okay, that makes sense. Where will we put that though? I'm so confused. Wasn't there once a library folder and stuff like that? At the moment, Alex, I'm trying to create another Liquid filter that makes it easy to filter out pages that I don't want to have published in production. So this filter will have to take two conditions into account. First of all, the public attribute of each document, which can be true or false, and then the environment in which Jekyll is running at the moment, because in development here on my workstation, I want to have everything published regardless of the public attribute. The public attribute should only be accounted for in production. And since I don't want to have complex conditions like that in my page code, I'd like to extract that into its own Liquid filter. And now I'm trying to find out how to define my own liquid filter, and and especially where to define it. Let's take a look at plugins. I guess, yeah. This is supposed to be another plugin. And how do we do that? The plugins directory. Plugins in the plugins directory will not be loaded when Jekyll is running in safe mode. Okay, so I guess I'll just plop a file in the plugins directory. Primarily, any file with an extension .rb placed within a plugins directory at the root of the site source will be automatically loaded. Brilliant. So let's do that. Let's go to the top of the site, talks _ plugins, and in there we'll call it the public filter.rb. And in here, oops, yeah, we'll have the Jekyll module. We'll call it public filter. And we'll call that public A. Page. And then we'll say page public or Jekyll environment. Now let's go back to environments. Okay, it's a string comparison. Environment equals development. In development, everything will be public anyway, otherwise okay, so that's that. To make this available, I'll have to restart Jekyll. Okay, there's a liquid syntax error. As expected, ... but found comparison. That's probably this one. That's in the overview template, so let's fix that. Here we'll simply say we don't need that anymore. So we can actually get rid of this and get rid of this, and we'll simply say where item contains path or filter. Let's actually indent that a little bit more, and here we'll say public it can't be that easy, can it? Because what even happens in this filter? How does this filter work? The return value will be the output of the filter. That doesn't work. Because Here we have the where expression. Item path contains path. I guess the question mark doesn't really make sense if you want to use it in here. Maybe as our first approach, we'll actually revert to having this here and page public page, something like that. Still says syntax error, expected ... but found comparison in name. Can we even use parents here? My liquid templates have been so simple so far that I'm actually not sure what I can and cannot do in liquid. In 90% of my templates I'm using ERB. And here I thought, yeah, let's go with liquid. And I'm starting to regret that. That is basically a filter as a transformation. Okay, that's fine. Here's a where. I probably have to look at how the where filter is built. Yeah, let's take a look at the liquid source code. They are just tags. Where did you hide the filters? Is this a different repository? Undefined variables and filters. Create your own filters. At least there's no example how to apply a filter to a collection. So I will have to rely on source inspection, but I'm struggling to find what I'm looking for. And I'm still having fun. Every time I'm struggling with something as basic as finding the correct source file, I wonder if there's something basic that I'm overlooking. Because that's not even a filter.rb, let alone something that would... Yeah, well, if all else fails, let's look for where. Liquid standard filters, that's in liquid standard filters.rb. Oh yes, I overlooked that. I should have maybe searched the page for filter. Okay, it's all hidden in here. Let's see how this works. Yes, this is a huge file, okay. Downcase just takes input as a and turns it into a string. These text filters are easy. I'm looking for something a little bit more sophisticated. So let's take a look where is where. That's the where filter. It takes an input. Ah, yes, and a property and stuff. Input, I guess, is a collection, and there is an input iterator class. That's nice. So I can actually iterate. Yeah, I'm basically about to write a reduce method, basically, that iterates over a collection. And okay. Property is the check. I'm curious how this is implemented. If the array is empty, we can simply return an empty array, which is nice. So that is a nice context. Where we'll return an array. And otherwise, here it actually does a select. And it calls, it looks up. So these items have a square bracket method to which you can pass a property or a condition. And that's all we do if the target value is nil. Okay. So in my case, where I already have a where, I say item, and then I say item path contains path, and I would assume that this square bracket method here actually executes, builds a dynamic expression where this item here gets replaced here, and then it calls path and contains. Interesting. Okay. And if we do have a target value, we do actually compare everything. Nice. Okay, so I can basically take this and go into my plugin, which is here. And we'll plop that in here. And move that down here. And we'll say public. We don't have any other stuff. We'll create Our iterator context, I would assume, is something we can grab out of thin air, because Shopify does so too. And then we'll basically say array select item public. And if we get a no method error, actually it's, yeah, we have to call a public. If that's not possible, why does it return nil in this case? I guess we can try without exception handling here as for the first try. Okay. Wait a second. Why does it Jekyll public filter? Is that how it works? Does that automatically get turned into a filter if that word here, public, is also a method name? Confused. There's a little bit much of magic here. Let me see again under plugins. Yeah, we need a second module here. Okay. So, module public filter. That's that. Then we can register our public filter. Why is this white? It shouldn't be white, should it? Don't think it should be white, but I don't see why there should be an issue. No. We actually have one end too many. Okay. How about now? There's still a syntax error, but I guess we can now actually say public. And then get rid of all that. Uninitialized constant Jekyll public filter input iterator. Okay, so now there's an issue in our filter itself. Why can they use input iterator and I can't. Where does input iterator come from? Maybe I have to include something. I guess... GitHub to the rescue. In this file. Okay. This is defined in here. That's a pity. But... do I need it? Can we just assume that we are dealing with an array? We don't need all this for our own purposes. Let's simply assume we are dealing with an array. Oof. Oh, now I've broken something. Oh, there's another item public call in public filter itself. Okay. So Jekyll page. Okay, we are actually, our items are pages as expected, but I can't call public on it. Is it page data public then? Nope. Can't even... Ah, okay. That's because my sample talk... Oh, I do still have the sample talk in there that I can use for experimentation. Okay. Doesn't have the public attributes set. No worries, that's why I actually extracted all this, so we can actually check if it even responds to public. And I think we are supposed to use data because that's where the title and the layout are stored, so we'll have to do something like if item data responds to public, then we'll call it. I have no idea why my indentation is off here, but that's exactly why I'm starting to switch it to RubyMine actually. If it responds to public, then we'll call it. And if it doesn't, then it's false by default. Still doesn't work. Now response 2 doesn't work. Response 2, isn't it? My meta programming is weak. Respond to. I guess that's short for does respond to. Okay. Haha! We didn't take into account in the environment we're running in, right? Let's see how this now looks. Where is my site here? Okay. So Varnish Mastery doesn't display anything anymore. I think that's not supposed to happen because we did say set index.md to true. However, that's hardwired in here. Where name equals, and here we'll need the public filter as well, and that lets us get rid of this. Now the overview is empty as well. Let's see. Let's do some debugging. Wait. Ooh, no output at all. Interesting. Do we even get here? Doesn't look like it. Oh yes, okay. No output here. They didn't flatten in there. Now it's broken. I can't call title on it because, yeah, that's in the data. But we can say we could use relative path just to be on the safe side. Relative path. Okay. They are all getting listed, but none of them seem to go into public. Interesting. Is there something where we can see how Liquid deals with something like that? Some? Interesting. property. We actually call response to on the item itself. So it's item after all. No. But there's still this input iterator in play here. The input iterator returns an array for this input by default. But if it's an array already, it flattens it. Maybe this is the minimum code that I need to copy from here. We could as well check what it is actually. Let's do that. Here we go. That's the input. And we'll do input inspect. So for all these, nothing happens, and only for slides, markdown, or varnish mastery, here we have a page. Not sure. How those correspond, because that page, asynchronous work, is completely different path than what's displayed before that. And it only has a relative path. Oh, okay, that's the first output, and then we have asynchronous work index, and then slides. But we don't get the page info for that. Okay. So the input itself is a page. No, it's an array. It's an array of pages. But the arrays... Ah, yeah, okay. Now I get it. Here we have an array. That's the Varnish Mastery index, the Varnish Mastery script, the Varnish Mastery slides preamble, and the Varnish Mastery slides. Yeah, that's the whole array, so we can actually call select on this. And then we are dealing with page objects. And that should allow us to actually... If we are dealing, in this case, the page directly has the food attribute here, but that might not be the case for... yes, define defaults for them and only override them where necessary. That makes a lot of sense in this case. So how do we do that? We could simply say defaults. To all your pages and posts. Yep, that way we can actually assume that there is a public attribute for each and every one. So let's do this. Oh, there is actually already defaults in here. We have the slides and the scripts, and I'd say we'll set public to false in both cases. Mm-hmm. Ah, that's the error, okay. Or otherwise, we do it without data. Both doesn't work. Pity. So we get an output of our array, and we get the names, but nothing else. So which path is this taking? Inspect. It actually goes into select. Nothing responds to public though, and so everything is false. If I set this to true, I guess select still doesn't work. Interesting. Do these put us commands have side effects? No, they don't. I guess select doesn't really allow to use... No, it outputs the relative path though. Here we go. Okay, no public method. Let's also output item data. Oh, look at that. What am I doing? I'm confusing myself. Okay, so no public method, no public method. Where's the data though? Here we are. So there's no default setting for public. Yes, there is. Public true, but there's no public method. This is a hash actually, so we can actually say item data key public, or we could simply use the standard behavior that Okay. Yeah, that seems to work. And in Varnish Mastery, we only see the slides. Okay, now it works. Nice. It's just about knowing all the data structures and how they work. Okay. So, Varnish Mastery slides 01 is the only one that is set to public. I wonder why the default thingy doesn't work, but... Oh yes, of course, because at this point I was simply taking into account that there will be a single slides.md and a single script.md. It doesn't take into account that there might be an index.md or a completely differently named file. So these defaults don't actually make a lot of sense, I guess. We could still do something like this. Yep, we'll do this. So everything by default has a public false. So we can actually get rid of this. And we can get rid of all the debug information.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Darkstar Dragon Games, welcome to the stack. Thanks for the follow. Okay, now we are getting somewhere. Let me try and put this to the test. If I go into my Varnish Mastery directory and I would like to not only publish the preamble but also publish the full slide deck, bada bing, it works. Nice. And now we'll have to take the environment into account. Let's go back to our filter. And we can get rid of these. If input is empty, we'll return an empty array. If not, Jekyll, if the Jekyll environment is development, we can make it a little bit easier. We'll say item is either public or the Jekyll environment is development. In this case, everything will be public by default. Which means if we go here and reload our application to get the new plugin code, it breaks. Oops. What did we do wrong? We don't have access to the Jekyll variable in our plugin. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Let's see. Access the site object using Liquid. Let's site object through the context registers feature of the context registers site. For example, you can access the global configuration file config using context registers site config. Oof, okay. What are the hoops I have to jump through? Jekyll, plugin, access, environment. Get Jekyll configuration inside plugin. That looks like something we could use. Need access the Jekyll site config. Yeah, okay. I think that's... yeah. Oh wait, there's a Jekyll class. Okay. And there's the configuration. Is there also an environment then? Context register site configuration. Valid questions. How do we get a reference to the context from a filter? This is all a little bit opaque, I'd say. Let's do trial and error. In here, we'll put this. This breaks because of the Jekyll thingy here, so let's get rid of that for the time being. Jekyll site, that's actually a site object, okay. Source, something, and that's the site directory, okay. So... is there an environment? Maybe? Register? That's nil. But how about site.environment? Site.environment. That doesn't work because I guess I can't call environment on this. Okay. A Jekyll site. Let's take a look at the Jekyll source code then. GitHub Jekyll. There's the site object, which has all kinds of stuff as accessors or readers. Source, for example, that's what we get here. No environment though. Then there's the config. That's Jekyll configuration. Okay, let's try and look for an configuration environments. That's in the documentation. Search isn't as helpful as I expected. Filter by code, yeah, let's get rid of that again. How do I go back? Is that... Yeah, that's the dashboard. That's not where I want to go. Lib. Jekyll. Configuration. All kinds of stuff. Source. Plugin steer. Markdown. No environment though. Why does it have to be this hard? Fredberg! Welcome to the stack. How is life? How's the bike? How's the missus? This is not the biggest fun if you're already a little bit tired. Needle haystack and stuff. Excuse me. I had a rough night. Got to bed late. Then my daughter rummaging in the kitchen at midnight woke me up because the camera alerted me. Then I had difficulties falling back asleep. And so I slept in for another hour in the morning, but that did not replenish my batteries enough. I did see that you did this 3-hour ride on I did see it on Strava. Yeah, that's always a win. Yeah, definitely. That's up there with the best of them. I refuse to accept that I can't simply search for environment. Oh, there's a code thingy. What is a Jekyll drop though? But I guess it's the only thing. Oh, that's a part of a liquid template. That is what provides us with the Jekyll method. And that's Jekyll.env. All right. See. Okay. So what we can do is, can we go into Jekyll.env? Is it that easy? Jekyll.env. Ha! Look at that. Okay. So we are either public or Jekyll.env equals development. And that means now we should have all our talks back. Yep, there's the teleprompter script again. So the only thing that I now have to make sure is that I set the production environment when I deploy this somewhere, which I haven't set up yet. And I need to decide, do I publish this on GitLab pages? I think I'll do. I think that's a good idea, actually. I haven't tried GitLab pages yet. Usually I went the easy route and simply pushing it to Netlify. But you never know when they are going to charge for even smaller sites, so maybe I'll try GitLab for a change. And let's see what we need to do. GitLab pages. Apart from, of course, setting DNS properly. How complex is this going to be? With GitLab pages, you can publish static websites using any static site generator. That is nice. To publish, you can use Jekyll. Alright. Use the GitLab UI to create a simple GitLab CI YAML. In GitLab CI, we'll then simply call Jekyll. Oh, that's nice. And then, of course, I can set the environment variable in there as well. That is brilliant. Okay, getting started. Add a pages site to an existing project. Use the UI to set up a simple... Yeah, why not? Let's go this route. You must output files to the public folder. If you create this folder during the build pipeline, you do not need to commit it to Git. Ensure your files are in the root level public folder. Okay. So I have to basically set my output directory to public instead of site. Okay. And then we'll generate stuff. And we'll have to enable it in the project features. Okay. Okay, how do we even define that output folder? Well, let's actually commit stuff now. That's that. And is that in the configuration? There is no videos collection anymore, so we can clean that up. And the reveal theme isn't Dracula anymore either. How did I build that here? I'm actually using the monospace CSS as this theme. So I guess we can get rid of that. Let's make sure I haven't broken anything. So far, that looks good. Yep, it's nice. And how to set the output directory? Specify the public directory for output. That happens where? Destination flag, so... Okay, we'll have to account for that in the GitLab CI file. Alright. Actually, we can just follow that tutorial now, I guess. Create the project files. We need the GitLab CI thingy. Okay. So I'll have to... Search, go to find your project. Then in deploy pages, I'll have to fill in the form. Okay. And here, we install bundler, do bundle install, then we do Jekyll build. Okay, they're building this step by step. So in the end, I'll have to have pages and then the script. And in that script, I need to also specify that we want to build into public and tell GitLab CI that the artifacts are going to be there. And we'll just use a current Ruby image. Okay. Bethesda said GitHub Pages works pretty well. I imagine the GitLab environment also works well. Yeah, I'd assume that. Bethesda's looking into cellular gateways with Ethernet connectivity. For standby internet connectivity for the house. Oh yeah, mine kicked in earlier today actually. I got a notification from my Ubiquiti app. I'm using the Unify, what is it called? Unify LTE, I think it's called. You simply connect that to your network and put in a SIM card and that's it. Cost $200, something like that. I just reduced the amount of bandwidth that I have on that card to 3 gigabytes per month, so I wouldn't be able to stream over the LTS connection if my cable internet would go out, but it'll definitely keep us online for a few minutes, or yeah, for more basic purposes. Okay, so that should be pretty easy. I'm not going to deploy branches or stages. The only thing that I need to modify is the environment. And then again, we can, of course, take advantage of caching. Yeah, that's nice. Well, this looks pretty straightforward. I think it's even easier than GitHub Pages, do they still have this strange branch-based page generation where you have to have completely different directory layout in a specific pages branch to get that rendered? I think it's much more straightforward here, where it's a simple CI job and that's that. I would assume that GitHub by now has always also switched to GitHub Actions and have it and made it more straightforward, but I've never... Did I ever? I might have once or twice at some time in the past have used GitHub Pages, but not for any serious project I can remember. This is going to be the first one where I really want this to work. Okay, dokie. So that means we'll grab this CI file and add that here, gitlab-ci.yaml. QMK? No, I don't think so. YAML. And we'll also have to do something like that. Actually, we can simply do this here, right? Let's reuse this tab. Jekyll set environment. Yeah, we'll just say Jekyll env here equals production, and we'll build into public. That should do the trick. And then we'll have to go and set up GitLab so it does actually render a page. Bethesda says, I'm sure the LTE is a fine product. It doesn't hit the mark for me for a few reasons, though. It needs a unified gateway. Yeah, you're basically tied to having a complete Unify setup, which I'm actually glad to have. So far, it has removed so much pain of setting up your own home network if it's a little bit more sophisticated than the usual, with multiple access points and stuff like that. And I'm happy that I have the option of getting an affordable backup connection. And yes, it's bound to a single provider, that's true. But, wait, what do you mean it's bound to a single provider? It's bound to the provider whose SIM card you put in. Isn't that always the case? Are there gateways where you get to configure multiple providers? Because that's exactly how it works. You put in a microSIM of the provider of your choice, and that's it. Is it different in the US? Now, let me quickly set up GitLab so I can deploy pages. GitLab.com. Projects, talks, where are the settings? Deploy, pages, Step 1, select your build image. That's going to be Ruby 3. Do I have to set this up now? Okay. 3.2. Application files are in the public folder. Yes, installation steps. Does this add a GitLab CI file by itself? Ah, yes. Do I have to go through this? There's no way to skip this, is there? Okay. Except if I simply push the GitLab CI file that I already have, because that seems what this wizard that you can't see is trying me to set up. It'll just repeat the steps that I already took to get my GitLab CI file in the first place. So let's see. We'll simply go and push this and see what happens. Okay. Let me take a look at what happens. Build pipelines. What is supposed to happen? Let's see. Deploy and view your website. Okay, where's the view then? After you've completed, save and commit, go to build pipelines to watch, and go to deploy pages to find the link to your page's website. When this pages job completes successfully, a special pages deploy job appears. Okay, is that the case? Let's see. We are still installing gems and we'll have to set up caching to speed this up. Bethesda said, with regards to modern LTE, at least in the US, pretty much every radio supports all the channels that each provider uses, which is a good thing, I guess. So it's generally a process of put in SIM, radio registers SIM with tower, tower AP provides carrier config. Makes sense. Unsure how identical that is to an LTE gateway, or if I'd have to hand configure those settings. I don't think so. But I guess it's the whole point is moot, since you don't have a Unify network set up. At least you don't have a Unify gateway in place. It's not an option anyway. AC Vocal Local says, hopefully GitLab fired that guy who deleted prod. What do you mean deleted prod? Did someone delete prod in GitLab? I mean, and even if they did, GitLab just then invested thousands of dollars into the training of that person, because that'll never happen again with that person. So why fire them? Their value has increased tremendously. And I see Balthazar is on the same wavelength as me. And Epic Ninja Elephant says it was massive management failure. I have no idea what you folks are talking about. I've been using GitLab for ages and I haven't noticed. Was that something recent? I feel completely out of the loop there. I should have been flooded with GitLab incident emails. Yes, years ago, someone, yeah, I think I remember that someone deleted the production database and took GitLab down for quite a while. But that was ages ago. I'd be much more worried about the guy who took that pension fund down, the pension fund down over on Google Cloud. Okay, that is that job. Let's take another look at the pipeline. Did we get another? Oh, we did get another pages deploy job as promised. Nice. So let's go back to my repository and go back to deploy pages. Oh, look at that. We will use a unique domain, but for the time being, this will do. Huh, okay. However, theme and stuff is completely broken. So something's not right here. It did render as expected, though. All the files that we did not explicitly mark as public did not get published, which is great. That was the purpose of the whole exercise. However, if all the CSS is broken, then of course slides won't work either and stuff. So I guess I'll have to I'll have to find out why that is. No, it was actually impressive how they were able to recover in the first place. I wonder how many organizations would be able to do that. If someone goes and completely kills your whole online infrastructure, as if you had cancelled your account. Everything gets deleted, everything gets cleaned up. Recovering from that in that amount of time was actually impressive. Unfortunately, things like that happen all the time. I just recently told of our provider who was hosting a managed Nextcloud instance for us, and they had a complete process failure that got our complete Nextcloud instance deleted completely with all the backups they had and everything. I'm so glad that we did actually sync files to our workstations, so those weren't lost. And since calendar collections failed, our calendar applications also had all the events in them, and we just had to connect a different provider and calendar source and then simply copy our existing events over to the new calendar. So recovering from that was actually pretty easy, but first deciding on where we would go and stuff like that out of the blue, that definitely took down our internal processes for 2 or 3 days, because it happened on a Friday afternoon, actually. disaster recovery is such an important topic, and yeah, that's great. Epic Ninja Elephant, having someone who takes care of these things and actually puts their fingers in the wounds and making sure that things do work, that's invaluable. All right, folks, I think debugging the CSS issue is going to be something that I'll postpone because I'm getting bored myself, and that's never a good state to be in when you try to stream something, because how will I keep you folks entertained if I'm getting bored myself? I think I'm going to get myself something nice to drink and relax a little bit. And maybe even go outside. I'm just looking out of the window through my blinds here. It seems to be pretty windy, and probably there might be rain in the mix as well soon. I don't know. We'll see. Well, Epic Ninja Elephant, thank you for joining us. This was fun, and I'm really happy that I got to stream today. I'll be back tomorrow, even though I have to day off work. I'm still going to do my office hour at 1 p.m. UTC. Office hour means you ask questions, I try to answer them. So if you have any questions about Linux system administration or Ruby development or software engineering in general, about IT career questions, stuff like that, questions that you have but never dare to ask, maybe simply drop in tomorrow and ask them there. I'll do my best to answer them. And yeah, I guess until then, thanks everyone, and see you soon. Take care.